Hey, ESPN, I'm Jack. I'm the co-founder of Crack.com.
And I'm Miles, a former lobbyist that loves soccer and gets very nervous when I'm pulled over by the police.
And we're the hosts of The Daily Zeitgeist, a daily comedic news podcast that covers politics, pop culture, and we're both big sports fans. I'm actually named after my grandfather, legendary NBA coach Dr. Jack Ramsey.
Oh, well, I'm named after Miles Davis, a legendary heroin addict who is not my grandfather.
It's not a competition. So search The Daily Zeitgeist on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever fine podcasts, or give it away for free.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the deck. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Give me your boom.
Happy Monday, we're back. I'm David Jacoby. He's Jalen Rose.
What up, doe?
We're Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN
And
Radio.
on the cool check-in.
What do we do, Jalen?
We give the individuals that support this fine program exactly what they want, anytime they need.
Let's make that time right now. Russell Westbrook is averaging 31.7 points, 10.6 rebounds, and 10 assists a game.
Wow.
He has 30 triple-doubles this season.
Wow.
Yet Mark Cuban still won't acknowledge that he is even a candidate for most valuable player. What is Mark Cuban's problem with Russell Westbrook?
It's one of those things you see it happen in the media where you're going to blindly defend a player because you have his cell phone number or he's been on your show before. You actually met him before and you think he's a really nice guy. So regardless of what he did, you got to preface what you say by that when you shouldn't have to.
It's hard to be unbiased when you have personal relationships.
For Mark Cuban, this clearly is an acknowledgement of why that same, for example, media would keep a Terrell Owens out of the Hall of Fame. He just doesn't like him.
He doesn't like him.
And so because of that, he's going to find ways, kind of like when I play for Larry Brown. I feel like he's pulling people out of the stands to come play in front of me. I'm like, man. So he's going to find a way to discredit what Russell does on the floor. But as you mentioned, leading up to this topic, you clearly can't deny his greatness.
He's averaging 10.04 assists a game. How much of a conscientious effort is he going to make sure that doesn't drop down below 10.00?
He's proven that he doesn't have to make a conscious effort. When I'm seeing triple-double numbers that rival Wilt Chamberlain, that rival the Big O, we're seeing a special season. We're seeing something that's unprecedented. Therefore, he doesn't have to chase the assists. If anything, it would be he's chasing the rebounds. And for him to be able to get double-figure rebounds plus lead the league in scoring, that's just a terrific feat by a guy that's playing in the Western Conference and leading his team to the playoffs.
Yep. The Knicks did something pretty interesting.
Stop running the triangle.
No. Close.
Okay, gave Joakim Noah a $70 million deal.
Equally ridiculous and
Signed
archaic.
Brandon Jennings and released him.
They played the first half of their big Warriors matinee matchup on ABC.
Yes, indeed.
Completely silent. No Jumbotron, no music, no dance routines, no halftime entertainment. They just sort of like did it old school. Old man Jalen, who hates music.
Old man Jacoby, who hates concerts.
Something tells me that you really enjoyed this.
So there's extremes, and they clearly went to one by keeping the arena totally silent. I appreciate the announcements during the game, the entertainment, the cheerleaders, the different skits that take place, the half-court shots.
Kiss cam,
the
PA
things that
everything.
absolutely make the
T-shirt
in-game
guns.
experience terrific for people's opportunity to enjoy. The only thing I would want to point out to people is while the basketball is live, they should not be playing music that I would hear on my jukebox. When I'm taking out the ball with 5 seconds to go and I'm standing on the sideline and I play for your favorite team, you don't want me bobbing my head to my favorite Meek Mill record that's playing over the loudspeaker. I can't concentrate fully.
But see, you go the other way so many times. You're like, I'm so locked in, la. But now it's like, you know what? If Drake is on, I can't help but bob my head. I can't concentrate.
Look at it as we're mobile devices or we're computers. There's only so much that we all can consume at one time.
Okay.
And still be able to perform at an elite level. That's just how all of this, that's just how our minds work. And there are times when we all wander, especially if you don't have the ball. And there are different ways still to create that experience that don't have to be music. It could be an organ. It could be the defense chant. It could be all types of things to get the crowd involved. Cheers, jeers, all of that type of stuff. I just don't want to hear music at that time like I'm at a concert or at a bar.
So if you hear Sir Foster, who's a mix of the two, sort of like an organist in Atlanta that plays the latest and greatest, are you okay with that?
I don't think it should be a jukebox while the basketball is live. That's just what I don't think. Every other time, the other 90% of the time that you're in the arena, I love hearing music. I enjoy it like
break,
everybody
all
else.
the contests, the red panda,
Yes.
the dance teams, the kiss
No
cams,
doubt,
the
of course.
T-shirt guns. You're fine with all of that.
Here's what I want to acknowledge. So, as an athlete, you're also a performer. What is the company that we work for called?
Entertainment and Sports Programming Network.
Okay, what's the first word?
Entertainment, sir.
Okay. So, say you're a performer, say you're an actor. Okay. There are different mediums where your skill set is used as a certain attribute. So, for example, in television, that's considered a writer's medium. Like if somebody's doing a show, they have a really strong pen that truly is going to drive the possible success of that show. Movies are a director's medium. Mm-hmm. Basketball, to me, is like a stage show, like a play. It's an actor's medium. When you're at a boxing match, when you're at a football game, when you're at a hockey game and they drop the puck, guess what happens in all of those situations? No music is playing. You see fighters as they enter the ring with their music. You see it happen between rounds, the ring girls. You see the acknowledgments of the celebrities between rounds. But while the combatants, while the competitors are on the dance floor or on the stage, there is no music playing.
Why do you want it to be quiet while you're playing basketball?
It doesn't have...
Because so you won't get distracted? Is that
No,
really what your
sir,
answer is?
no,
Why do you want it quiet?
No. See, you're going extreme.
I'm asking you a question.
No,
You answer,
but it's not an accurate... It's not
an accurate question?
It's not an accurate assessment of what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it has to be like golf where it's silent. I'm not saying it has to be like a library where it's silent. I'm saying there are different ways within the basketball experience to continue to have your home court advantage. Like I mentioned, play organs, play defensive chants, play different things on the Jumbotron that's going to engage the crowd. I don't mind hearing the cheers. I don't mind hearing the jeers. When you're hearing the music, sometimes that's actually works in reverse because it's drowning it out. What ended up happening is so many teams that couldn't generate an enthusiastic experience over 82-game season, you have to manufacture it. And what people thought that they were doing is drowning and blaring music in your ears as that's your form of entertainment. When you can actually, ain't nothing wrong. When the last time you were at a basketball game and had actually heard gym shoes squeak?
During this Knicks-Warriors game, and it was not entertaining. It was kind of weird. It was, especially the thing is I've been to so many of those matinees, Madison Square Garden games, and they are so quiet. This was the wrong time to do it because New York is a late night town. It's not an early morning town, especially those 12 p.m. tip-offs. Those are just silent. It's the wrong time to do it.
There are so many. There's just a level of creativity that people are overlooking that could take place with this. It doesn't necessarily have to be music from your jukebox like we're at a bar or a concert blaring while your favorite point guard is dribbling the ball across half court, or while your favorite forward is taking the ball out of bounds with 8 seconds to go in the game. There are different ways to manufacture that experience without playing my favorite verse, my favorite hook, my favorite beat, that all of a sudden, instead of me trying to remember what play I'm going to run, which is no fault of anybody else's, it's just human nature. I'm subconsciously am going to be singing the music. Well, how many times have you seen players on the floor singing a song?
Two things I know. Number one, from doing this show with you for 5 years, I know this. You get distracted when your music comes on. Every time it does a song you like, you get distracted. That's fair. Number two, I feel like the Knicks were like, the only chance we have against the Warriors if we really make it weird. Like, let's make this whole experience weird for everybody in the whole entire building, and maybe then we have
went
a
to the
chance.
extreme. You can still have the announcers. You can still have the promos and the advertisement. Just shut off the music, in particular, the jukebox style, while the ball is live.
Jalen, it's not a black or white world. It's not a yes or no world. There's a lot of shades of gray. We explore those variants in this segment that we call 0 to 100.
Let's get it.
We're going to start with the great one, the greatest basketball player to ever play. Here's what he had to say to the North Carolina crowd.
I wish you guys nothing but best. The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. What?
0 to 100. How much sense did that make?
0.
0 cents? It made some sense. It made some sense to me.
It made sense to Redman and Method Man.
It
made sense to Cypress Hill.
The ceiling is the roof, Jalen. The ceiling is the roof. Can we just play it again? That's not the only thing he messed up. Listen.
I wish you guys nothing but best. The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen.
I wish you guys nothing but best. What? Come on, MJ. I get the ceiling roof thing, but nothing but the best, MJ. Come on, are you nervous, MJ?
He just misspoke, mumbled his words, didn't articulate what he was hoping to get accomplished. It happens to the best of us.
The ceiling is the roof.
But that definitely is one of those things when you see people trying to defend them, you look at them a different way.
Because look, well, there's the ceiling, and then there's that attic area, maybe some supporting beams. There might be a little bit of room between the ceiling and the roof, and then he wants North Carolina to bust through that ceiling and then just hit the roof.
I wish you guys know the best. The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen.
If there's an individual trying to defend that in any way, shape, or form, they're blinded. They can't see.
A lot of people
they
are
need to wear
blinded by
sunglasses
the
like
Jumpman
DMC. You're blind.
Jalen, I wish you nothing but best. 0 to 100. How much of LeBron James sitting out in Miami when they play in Miami has to do with the fact that he used to play in Miami?
80%.
80%?
When players sit out games, they're pre-planned. When the Chicago Bulls beat the Cavs earlier in the year, the next night they played at the Mavs, which was a Saturday, and then they had a home game Monday. At this point of Dwayne Wade's career, he looks at the schedule with the coaching staff and dictates possibly which games he's going to sit out. They beat the Cavs. The team traveled to Dallas. He'd already planned not to play in that game on Saturday. Just so happened that he's really good friends with LeBron James. The schedule makes it to where me and my friend are in town at the same time. One of the amazing casualties of the job. This champagne and campaign. Well, on Saturday, the team lost to the Mavs. And that's a microcosm of their season because they have a chance to be the only team in almost 60 years to have a winning record versus teams with winning records and a losing record versus teams with losing records. The first team. So you look at those two games is a microcosm of that and how that's being played out. Oh, and by the way, at Dallas, Rondo got into it with the coaching staff, and that led into a whole different level of mutiny. So for LeBron, when he goes back to Miami, again, look at your favorite team, your favorite performer. That's a stage. That's a play. One of the things I wanted to talk about was what's happened with the Miami Mafia. There's some really good coaching taking place there and in Dallas. But I've noticed a couple of things that gave them a chance to do a Sam Van Gundy Diet Pepsi swig. When they went to Chicago, Wade was coming off the bench because of some issues they were having with the team. The Heat beat them. LeBron goes to Miami, he doesn't play either time. In LeBron's case, if you're the Miami Heat fans, you embraced it for 4 years. Of course, he took you to 4 finals. Of course, you won 2 championships, but you want to see him perform on the big stage. You don't care that they had a game the night before. And so that's not an accident. It is one of those things that happens silently behind the scenes. You don't think Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley somewhere saying, let's try to beat them by 25-30. This indirectly is what led to the altercation late with J.R. Smith.
So let's derail Revis the 0 to 100 thing and just drill down on this. Because Pat Riley said that LeBron leaving was the most shocking thing during his tenure in Miami. What? Should he have seen that coming?
No. When LeBron James becomes a free agent, you don't know if the Cavs have what it takes basketball-wise to lure him back until you see his letter. Like, oh, wait a minute. He don't mention Wiggins in the letter. He's thinking that his upside is bigger with Kevin Love and Kyrie than his upside is with Wade and Bosh.
But isn't that a possibility that someone like Pat Riley should have seen coming? I mean, don't you think that Dwayne Wade playing on the Bulls is more shocking than LeBron James leaving in free agency?
But also, you have a level of pedigree that you've established as Pat Riley is when people wanted to come win a championship, that's where Shaq was like, I need to get to Miami. Zoe, Gary Payton. The same thing happened with LeBron. The same thing happened with Bosh. Ray Allen left Boston, like, where can I go? And so this is why when LeBron left Miami to go to Cleveland, he took a lot of those people that were down there with him because they understand that level of culture that Pat established, that this can't get they can't get lost in all of this. So you don't think they looking at the Cavs side out like, oh, okay, y'all gonna play us like that? He gonna sit out against us? Okay, we're gonna try to beat the brakes out of y'all, off of y'all. And which leads to in-game trash talking, what ultimately leads to the late situation where the player dunked and pushed Channing Frye and J.R. Smith jump up and he's yelling things with his suit on. That just kind of lends to that overtone.
So we know what happened with Dwayne Wade, and we obviously know what happened with LeBron James, but we're not really talking much about what's going on with Chris Bosh. Like, he's past the point where he could play this year. And he's never officially announced that he's not going to play professional basketball anymore. So forecast how this member of the Miami Mafia is going to sort of jump out of the gang.
I think once they've decided that he's not going to be a member of their team, there probably will be 29 other teams that follow suit because their best interest is to try to win games. Him on the floor has shown he can be a productive player and help them do so. If they think that health-wise he can't perform and they don't clear him, I think other teams around the league are going to trust that they've done their due diligence. And that's a major health risk that even if he's willing to take, I think it may be one that teams try to avoid him making that decision for himself, but making it for him.
Do you think Pat Riley sometimes just looks in the mirror and says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tear it all down and just build around Dion Waiters. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tear it all down, leverage everything. Dion Waiters is going to bring us back.
That's what
Larry
you would
O'Brien
have done
trophy.
with your team for Lance.
0-100. How much was John Ross breaking the 40-time record at the Combine overshadowed by Adidas and this stupid Island promotion?
I think the Island promotion indirectly probably had an effect on this actually being broken.
Really?
Because it wasn't something that we were discussing or talked about until A, they brought it up, B, it created the most talked about, I guess, storyline from the Combine that he broke the record. Now people were asking, what shoes was he wearing? And right after he broke the record, he got a contract with Nike.
I just feel like someone finally took down Chris Johnson's record, and like the lead story shouldn't be, did he get an island? Is there an island involved? Because the island was just a stupid marketing ploy. As someone who knows stupid marketing ploys, it was a stupid marketing ploy. Because whoever, even if he was wearing the Adidas shoes that he needed to wear to win the island, he was going to take the $1 million anyway. So good for Adidas.
And good for him.
Good for him. He hurt himself, though. That kind of took a little bit out of it from me. Like, it seemed like when he pulls up with his hamstring afterwards, it's like, oh, I would rather you ran like a 4.24 and were healthy.
I still like, what I now may deem as urban legend that Dion pulled up in a limo, barely dressed, Jerry curl juice everywhere, and ran a 4.19. I still want to believe that to be the record.
New things get added to this story every time.
That's what I think the record is. So I don't know.
If you
as I'm concerned, he ain't breaking.
If you ran the 40 right now, what would be your time?
If I ran the 40 right now, what would be my time? I'm not sure.
Like over under 6 seconds.
Under.
How long would it? At what point during the 40 would you hit top speed, or would you not even be there yet?
Around 10 or 15 yards.
Yeah, right. 0-100. How concerned is Floyd Mayweather about his bus being burned down in Birmingham?
40%. 40%. You never like when crime happens especially hate crime versus you. So he's traveling, promoting, doing things that makes him, a global icon and a business conglomerate. You don't want that to be a part of the destination. So he's 40% worried about that.
I'd be a little worried about it too. I'd be like, they saw my name on the side of a bus and they made some Molotov cocktails and decided they needed to burn it down. 0 to 100, how much do you think this has anything to do with Conor McGregor?
0, none.
Okay, that's fair. 0 to 100, how interested are you in updates from Met spring training about Tim? Tebow?
None. 0.
Just 0? You're not even a little bit curious? If he hits a home run, you don't even look up from your phone to look at the TV if you heard that he hit a home run? Not even a little bit?
Name 3 players on the Mets.
Cespedes, Syndergaard, Tim Tebow. Zero to 100. How much of Brendan Jennings saying that the Wizards play together is a shot at the New York Knicks?
I think it's onward and upward. I think 20% is a veil shot at the Knicks. But he got an upgrade. He got released by the Knicks. Now he plays for the Wizards.
Getting released seems like the best thing that could possibly happen to you in the NBA. Matt Barnes is on the Warriors. Bogut and Williams are on the Cavs. Jennings is now in the Wizards.
I have a 0 to 100 for myself. I 95% don't like how the buyout process takes place in the NBA, and eventually they're going to address it.
Yep.
It's great for us in the media and for fans to say the Cavs added Korver via trade, Bogut, Darren Williams. That Houston added Lou Williams via trade because the Lakers wanted to protect their top 3 pick. These moves are happening either draft or fiscally related, not because it's the best move in the standings. And when that dynamic continues to play out, I don't like what I'm seeing from those 3 guys in particular were starters on other teams this year. Well, now they're reserves with the Cavs.
They put all these policies in order. So many policies in order so trades are fair and equal and reviewed, and they make sure that no one's sort of manipulating the trade process for the benefit of one team, the detriment of another, intentionally. They don't really do that with the buyout process. The buyout process is, is he on the market? Then it's a free market. You can just sign him. Well, they dropped him. What would you suggest as a potential fix?
I don't appreciate what that does for the balance of power. And I think the true fix is the teams are really just trying to do it to save a buck. Yeah. Late in the season, we're not going to the playoffs in Dallas, so we could just save on Darren Williams' contract and invest, and they did it smartly, actually, in Seth Curry, in Yogi Ferrell, give them the minutes, and now all of a sudden we don't have this anchor of a salary on our books, and we're forced to pay this player that we don't see as a part of our future. I see the business aspect of it from the team that releases them, but I think the team that acquires them should pay the majority of the salary. See, now it's flipped. The team that buys you out usually pays 80 to 90% the lion's share of your salary. The team that acquires you should have to do it. So now the Cavs, in theory, are paying those 3 guys, paying Darren Williams and Bogut the minimum.
The minimum, the veteran minimum. When previously, just 2 weeks previously, they were making $8-10 million a year. Now they're making $400,000. Doesn't seem fair. But you know what I love? The Cavs. I love how their roster looks. Get better, Kevin Love.
J.R. Smith?
0 to 100. In your opinion, how un-American is the U.S. soccer policy that all players have to stand for the playing of the
I
national
don't
anthem?
want to get too political on this, but I'm going to keep this simple and short. It is American to choose. If you're forcing me to stand, or if you're forcing me to take a knee, that is not what this country is all about. That's the basic thing that people lose when they talk about a country that represents a free democracy. That is my option. It is not such if you're forcing me to do it, if you're making it a rule, if you're creating a stance. That is not what it's designed to do.
And I can't imagine that if someone was forced to stand, they could probably never think of another way that they could sort of like express their rebellious feelings, right? Since they're forced to stand, there's no other way that they could possibly manifest their rebellion in another way.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf chose to pray in that moment. So, again, when you're forcing me to do it, it's not by my will. That's un-American.
All I've wanted to talk to you about all day is this. Arian Foster did something this weekend that made me so happy, Jalen. He tweeted about one of my favorite conversation topics, and that is fights to the death against wild animals.
What?
Arian Foster went on Twitter and said he would fight a wolf one-on-one to the death.
What?
And he would beat the wolf.
What?
Before you answer whether or not you think you could beat a wolf in a one-on-one fight to the death, let me give you a little bit of what's happening. We're in this exact room, which is about the size of a boxing ring. There are no weapons whatsoever, just sheer walls and floor. You're fighting an average-sized gray wolf, which is 180 pounds. Could you beat that wolf to the death in a fight?
Irrational confidence comment. You ask that to anyone about another human being or an animal, they will feel like they're going to have what it takes to survive. For the most part. You hope that they do. Mm-hmm. In this case, I will.
So what's your strategy? You're in this room, this very room right here, without any of the accoutrement. Okay, you can keep some of the pictures behind you that I know you love so much for motivation. All right, you can have Jamie Kennedy and Magic back there. All right, you have Ice Cube. You can have that. I know that's important to you. But everything else in this room is gone. It's just you and the wolf. What is your strategy?
You hope to go for the head, go for the eyes.
That's what I'm doing. I'm sacrificing the left forearm as bait. Wolf takes the left forearm. Sure, I understand it's got a very powerful jaw. I understand it's going to crunch my forearm bones, but I'm going to be gouging those eyes. And then once he or she, because actually it's a he because it's a 180-pound male gray wolf, once he's blinded, it's over.
But here's the vulnerability of Houston. Here's the vulnerability of humans. You see how that worked out for Enes Kanter, right? And all he did was hit a chair.
That's a good point. That's all he did was punch a padded chair, and his forearm snapped.
That wasn't 180 pounds.
Gray wolf.
It didn't have teeth. It was not angry, and it didn't fight back. And you see what that did to the human body? He was out 4 to 6 weeks.
That is a good point to reconsider. And this Kanter tried to have a one-on-one fight against a chair and lost. Yet here I am trying to explain how I would beat a gray wolf.
So I think you thinking you're going to sacrifice your arm ends up sacrificing the whole side of your body.
And one thing about wolves that's different from me is they're trained to kill. You know? Like, you know what I'm trying to do? Go to the grocery store and pay for dead meat with a credit card. They're trained to kill. So they know the neck is vulnerable. The more I talk this through, the less I feel like I would beat a wolf in a one-on-one fight.
We have no shot, but when you're in that moment, just like if you were encountered by a giant that was MMA trained, that was in the prime of their career.
Do I have a slingshot?
You feel like you have a chance.
Do I have a slingshot?
Yeah, you're David.
Exactly. I'm a serious journalist, as are you. So as serious journalists that cover sports, we both did research for this topic. We watched a video of a gentleman by the name of Demaryius Thomas. He's a wide receiver for the Broncos.
Wide receiver.
He was in Milledgeville, Georgia. He went to Georgia Tech. He's from Georgia. And he was enjoying himself at a bar. A couple things of note happened. Number one, he looked at the camera and said the words, F Tom Brady. F Tom Brady.
Then he thought about it.
And then he was like, oh, he's the best, though. He's the greatest, though. But you could tell he really meant the first part and didn't really mean the second part. And then later, he was on top of the bar shirtless for what seemed like a lot of different songs, like a long time on top of the bar. He was chugging beers on top of the bar, dancing on top of the bar shirtless. Do you think he ultimately regrets dancing on the bar shirtless or saying F Tom Brady more?
I got an important follow-up question. Did he enter and exit safely?
I believe so.
No regrets.
Okay, none whatsoever. He doesn't even regret saying F Tom Brady.
No regrets.
It's not even a part
if
of
that's
him.
all y'all got from me after a night where I was on wax, people had cameras, I had my shirt off, I was on tables. If that's all you guys have, I'll take it.
But let me just say this about
No
Demaryius
regrets.
Thomas. He looks great with his shirt off. You know, if I was like him with my shirt off, yeah, I'd be taking my shirt off to go for jogs, taking my shirt off to push my kids around, all of that. I would take my shirt off, but I might even on a rare night take my shirt off and dance a little bit on top of a bar. But it seemed like he was up there for like 20 minutes. Like after one song, don't you think it's time to get down from the bar, Jalen?
Won a Super Bowl a couple of years ago, enjoying his offseason. It's not like the Giants wide receivers who were at Live on Sunday on a boat on Monday with the same outfits they had on at the club. Then they had a game Sunday where they got on the field, they made a mockery of it, shirts off, middle of winter, taking pictures with their phones, start the football game, drop footballs, lose the game, and go home.
Okay.
This is off season.
So let me ask you another question. Let's just say you're just a regular dude with your two buddies at that bar. And Demaryius Thomas has been up on top of the bar dancing for 15 minutes. Everyone's got their phones out. They're taking video of it. It makes a big crowd around the bar. It makes it hard to get a beer. At what point are you like, when is this dude going to get down from the bar?
Well, the fascinating thing about those situations, it seems like that's where celebrity comes to your benefit. Because I would think if he wasn't a Super Bowl champion wide receiver and he was just one of the individuals that's a patron at the establishment,
shirt doesn't even get above his chin.
Snatched up.
Shirt doesn't get above his chin before 3 security guards bring him down. Like, what do you think you're doing, young man?
Can you come down for
yeah,
that?
Yeah, no, they don't ask. They don't just say, can you come down, please? That's not how it works. But when you're Demaryius Thomas, sure, you want to be up there for 20 minutes? Sure, no big deal.
But you're paying for that booth. That's one of those nights where he probably ended up paying $20,000, $25,000.
I got Jalen. I went to, again, we're very serious journalists, so we do research on all the different sites on the internet. And one of the sites that I go to for my hard news is MediaTakeout.com. You're familiar.
Yes, indeed.
They had a big headline. Tristan Thompson, Khloe Kardashian married. What? We've got the pics of the rings. I look at a picture of Tristan Thompson wearing what looks like a sparkly diamond band on his left hand. I was thinking to myself, I can't imagine a reason that someone in Tristan Thompson's position would wear a band on his ring finger of his left hand unless he was married. But since I'm such a serious journalist, you know what I did, Jalen Rose? I clicked on his IG account just to confirm. And do you know what happened? Media Takeout flipped the picture to make it look like his right hand was his left hand. What? Can I continue to trust Media Takeout as a source of information as I have been for years?
You can, and we constantly give them shouts. There's so many other publications.
We get so many stories from them, yeah.
The list goes on and on of the people I can name and the publications we go to for information. But that's the bait and click.
Mm-hmm.
You know how this game works.
I know how this game works too well. Why do you think I double-checked on it?
Why do you think when you first showed it to me before you double-clicked on it, what did I say?
You were like, he's not married. Oh, it's time, Jalen.
And now, the Don't Get Fired topic of the day.
Analytics are the hot thing in the NBA right now. SportView data. We know how many miles everybody ran. We have data on every biometric data that tracks heart rate and all of that. Well, do you know what they're going to drop, Jalen?
What's that?
There are reports that the smart condom is coming. What? It is a ring.
I saw that.
That you can apply.
And it was blue, right?
And it measures all of the advanced analytics about your sexual performance. What? I will not go into detail, as all of you listening can imagine the different analytics that this smart condom could provide.
Like how long?
I'm not going to go into detail because we work for Disney.
How many?
And this is a family show.
Oh, okay.
Jalen and Jacoby giving the people what they want. My question for you. Are you intimidated by sex analytics?
No.
Does the world need sex analytics?
No.
Should we continue talking about this?
No.
There's a lot of news that gets covered all over ESPN and other news outlets. Some of which is important, some of which is not. You cut through it all. I read the story. You tell me to keep it moving, or you tell me to hit the brakes. Are you ready?
Let's get it.
It's Shaquille O'Neal's 45th birthday today.
Is it? Oh, 45, not 44, which means it's not a golden birthday. Keep it moving.
We be moving, you know we keep it moving.
Vincent Jackson says he has no plans to retire.
He get paid to play football, and he's healthy. Keep it moving.
We be moving, you know we keep it moving.
The Deadpool 2 teaser trailer came out this weekend.
Keep it moving.
We be moving, you know we keep it moving.
The Detroit Lions are showing heavy interest in big corners at the Combine.
Hit the brakes.
I knew I'd get you with Lions.
Jabril Peppers? He'll be gone. Keep it moving at this point.
We be moving, you know we keep it moving.
Jerry Jones said there's nothing new that was revealed in the
Keep it
Ezekiel
moving.
Elliott.
We be moving, you know we keep it moving.
Julius Peppers has announced that he's going to play a 16th season.
Keep getting them checks. Keep it moving.
We be moving, you know we keep it moving.
A man in the Dominican Republic chugged an entire bottle of tequila and then immediately passed away.
Hit the brakes. What type of tequila?
I'm not sure. I did watch the video, but it is one of those when champagne and campaign goes wrong moments, because the video that I saw was grainy. You couldn't really tell what was going on, but it seemed like everyone was cheering for him and he was all excited. It was just like, and it was one of those things where it's like, alcohol is not just a dangerous drug, it's a deadly drug. Like, you can alcohol poison yourself, and it can be fatal. So especially for those young people that are just sort of building their relationship with alcohol, be very, very careful when you do so. Your thoughts, Mr. Rose? I think it was Patron. Let's keep it moving.
We be moving, you know we keep it moving.
A gentleman that has been to space before says that the two tourists that are going to go near the moon on a SpaceX flight next year are in danger.
Hit the brakes.
Ooh.
I told you. You talk about this like it's some foregone conclusion. Like there's so many planets, moons, and quasars in the solar system, and there's life everywhere. And this show is being done from another planet, and people are playing full court with their shirts and skins on cement on another planet. You believe that?
I don't think they're playing shirts and skins on another planet. I don't think people play shirts and skins anymore. When was the last time you played shirts and skins? It's not that hard to keep.
When the last time I played basketball?
It's a great point. Let's keep it moving.
We be moving, you know we keep it moving.
Pat Riley said this about Magic Johnson. He's a prodigal son of the Lakers.
No surprises. We all knew that. Both legends. Keep it moving.
We be moving, you know we keep it moving.
Adam Silver said that changes need to be made to the All-Star Game format.
Pump the brakes. Let's get out the checkbook. I know fans and media don't like to hear this, but right now they're investing $50,000 in 12 players that win, which equals, what, $6 million? $600,000 to the winning team. So they're investing $600,000 in the winning team and $300,000 to the losing team. You put another zero on that?
Ooh.
Now all of a sudden, you give the winning team 100% of the purse? It makes it a lot more interesting.
Yeah. All right. So you're the player. I'm the executive. So you know what? I think that would work. I like where you're going here. Where does the extra money come from?
So if you're taking 12 players and giving them $500,000, that's $6 million.
Okay.
The losing team gets half of that. That's $3 million. That $9 million, I'm pretty sure the NBA can get a sponsor in one way, shape, or form to write that check. And the team that wins gets the entire purse. The losing team gets nothing.
That additional $6 from that $6 million from that sponsor, why wouldn't we just keep that and keep the format the same? It's not incremental money, Mr. Rose.
You didn't add it up properly, Mr. Jacoby.
You confused me with all the math, Mr. Rose.
Okay, let me do it again.
Okay.
The winning team gets paid $50,000 a player.
Okay.
That's $600,000. for the winning team. The losing team gets half of that. That's $300,000.
Okay.
Currently, they're investing $900,000 in the 24 individuals that compete in that game.
Okay.
I'm saying you add a zero to that.
Make it $9 million.
Make it $9 million.
So adding $8.1 million extra from the league.
Correct.
Me.
Correct.
How do I recoup that $8.1 million?
You get a sponsor for that $8.1 million.
If that same sponsor, I could sell on them something else and just keep the $8.1 million.
Well, you said, how can I get the All-Star game to be more attractive? Now, how can I sell another advertisement? You incentivize the players by adding a zero. You give the winning team, each player gets $500,000.
What if we just put trampolines all over the court? No?
I don't like that.
No?
The bottom line, 12 players should be dividing $9 million instead of 24 players dividing $900,000.
What if Arian Foster and a live wolf were introduced every 5 minutes to wreak havoc? Can I give you a serious suggestion?
Sure.
This one I really think would work. It costs no money from anybody. After 3 quarters, it's 0-0. So just give me 1 quarter. Just give me 1 quarter. Just 12 minutes of real basketball. The first 3 quarters, you can throw all the alley-oops you want. You can throw it off the backboard.
That's the problem.
But
it is 0-0, except it's 120 to 120.
But it's not. It's never really that close. I just think you just reset the whole thing. You just wipe all the stats and just say the MVP is going to be the MVP of this quarter. This is the one that matters. The rest was warm-up. That was exhibition. You rocking with that?
So just empty this. So just erase the scoreboard.
Yep.
Okay.
What if Arian Foster the live wolf, better or worse than that?
Live wolf.
Live wolf is always the answer. Redskins linebacker Trent Murphy
Keep it moving.
is facing. Okay.
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
Kyle Korver's leading the league in 3-point percentage.
Who he play for?
The Cleveland Cavaliers.
Keep it moving.
What?
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
They have multiple snipers probably on that list, along with the Rockets.
Jabril Peppers is
Hit the
saying
brakes.
that he's. Oh, okay. Oh, if the Lions or the Wolverines, now all of a sudden we're hitting the brakes.
What did Jabril say?
Jabril said, I'm a safety. And he doesn't want to talk about being anything else than a safety because he's a really good safety.
Whatever Jabril says.
Here's what I'm saying. Jabril, you're a great safety. But you know what makes you attractive to a team that's going to commit a draft pick to you?
You're a Swiss Army knife.
Your versatility. So why are you standing at the podium sort of being stubborn about this safety thing? You should go the other way. You should say, I'll be a quarterback. I can be a punter. I'll be the offensive coordinator. I'll be the defensive coordinator. I'll be everything. You're in the job interview, Jabril.
Here's what you're probably not paying attention to, though. The value of that spot, which other players may or may not get picked in front of him, and how much that spot's going to pay right off. And I'm seeing the money these D-backs and safeties are getting. He's probably looking at that also.
It's fair.
It's what he does for a living at this point of his career.
Karuchi Tran is looking to get a restraining order from Chris Brown.
Hit the brakes.
What? We're hitting the brakes on that?
Really quick.
I was supposed to just keep moving on that one.
I just hope that they're finding a way to figure out their resolution without conflict. This is a perfect example for young people that there's so many things that can be said publicly and or privately for that matter that now once we all consume it, we're following the story and waiting to see what happened like a double dutch. I just hope that they're finding a way to make a peaceful resolution because that's how I like to see young people resolve conflict.
Hard to argue with that. Tony Romo and Jerry Jones.
Keep it moving.
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
They still talking?
Tim Tebow.
Keep it
We be
moving.
moving, you know, we keep it moving.
There's a new statue
Hit the brakes.
being built.
Where?
I just made the last one up. Jalen Rose, remember when Boogie got traded to the Pelicans and everyone was talking about that round 1 matchup? That round 1 matchup against the Warriors. Ooh, the bigs on the Pelicans are going to give the Warriors trouble. Well, apparently everybody forgot about the Trailblazers and everybody forgot about the Denver Nuggets. And now there's another team.
I would need to put an asterisk next to that. Everybody except this program.
Great point.
Because you specifically not only felt like me that the Denver Nuggets would make the 8th spot, you also deemed their 4 and 5 men to have a nickname.
The Birch Brothers.
Jokic, Plumlee.
Birch Brothers.
Why is that?
Birch is a white tree. It's very tall and sturdy. Jokic, Plumlee, also tall and sturdy like trees. Nothing to do with their race. Now the Mavericks are in there. They've won 2 straight. And they could actually make the playoffs. Behind the work of none other than Seth Curry. I'm always on Reddit. I'm always in the NBA subreddit. And they pointed this out, that Seth Curry, since the All-Star break, has been putting up these numbers. Are you ready, Mr. Rose? 23.3 points a game. 3.3 3-point shots made. 3.2 rebounds. 3 assists. 1.5 steals. 57.7 from the field. 52.6 from 3. What? Is Seth Curry better than Steph Curry?
No.
What?
What happened is, and I appreciate throughout the league, and I wanted to get into this one day, we talk about coaches like they're rent-a-cars, but when you have one, man, it's not only getting him to make sure your team wins the game tonight, but his second most important job, and the one that really drives whether your team is going to be consistently good or not, is how you develop players. And I see this in Miami. It just fascinates me watching how Spo has put his fingerprints on that team and drove them to win streaks that we hadn't seen in the league for a team that didn't currently have an all-star. That's exactly what's happening in Dallas. You buy out Darren Williams. You bring in Yogi Ferrell on a 10-day. You sign him to a second 10-day. You give him a 2-year contract because he's performing well. He wins Rookie of the Month. Nerlens Noel. The last year and a half, while healthy a lot of time, the Sixers were trying to figure out a way to minimize his minutes and opportunity because they wanted to see what they had in Embiid and Okafor.
And if you watch the Sixers with Nerlens on the floor, you see his potential. Like, you see his abilities and you see his defense. And you see, like, this should work in today's NBA, but it doesn't work for the Sixers. Goes down to Mavs, what happens?
You get with a coach like Rick Carlisle, who now also gets his fingerprints on Seth Curry. And the numbers that you talked about is from a player that's been in and out of the league, played for 5 teams in 4 years, and now he's in a position to seem to have found a home with the Mavs under that stewardship.
And it does feel a little bit like an Austin Rivers from last year thing, where it's like in and out of the league, sort of on the fringes, one of those guys who might not have a roster spot next year, but then proves themselves as a legitimate rotation NBA basketball player with one season. It feels like Seth Curry is doing that of late. It's got to be hard, though, when your brother's so good.
And also, too, another subject for another day had me thinking, man, Coach Cal got some players in the league. I'm watching Tyler Ulis get a steal late, make a 3, versus while he's playing with Eric Bledsoe. Then I'm seeing Willie Cauley-Stein contesting
Jamal
a
Murray
shot.
Tearing it up?
Yes, so I'm like, that's something that I want to get into over the next couple of days, the revolving door of Cal in the NBA.
I'm sure it's all on the up and up. There have been more triple-doubles this year than any other season in the history of the NBA.
Misleading.
It is now March 6th. You're saying that's misleading.
Yep.
Why do you say that?
Because one individual has an opportunity to get close to the record of triple-doubles overall in the season, named Russell Westbrook.
Why is it misleading?
Because what percentage of those triple-doubles does he personally have?
Probably about 40. I think it's about 30 of 75 or so.
That's why I feel like that's misleading.
I feel like it's not misleading because it's a fact. Just throwing that out there. It's hard to be misleading. If you can, yeah, I get what you're saying. You're saying if Russell Westbrook wasn't out there doing what he's doing, then that record would not be broken.
Yep.
So it's more the efforts of one person, not a league-wide, across-the-board, that like it's not like this guy's getting 10, this guy's getting 10, this guy's getting 10, this guy's getting 10. You think it's more just it's the efforts of one human being are what's making this record fall.
Well, you said one individual is responsible for 40% of it. Then you have cases like Jokic of big men who are really good passers that play facing the basket, do a lot of dribble handoffs and back cuts with their team, and they could get you to 10 assists when you expect your big to get you to double-figure points and rebounds. So I'm impressed by that versatility, but again, that statistic doesn't necessarily wow me because when I think of triple-doubles, I think of those two guys, James Harden, LeBron James. It's a few people that have multiple triple-doubles to kind of go toward the majority of that number.
You know what it makes me think? It makes me think, Draymond Green, how come you couldn't get 10 points that day? He had 4 points. Come on, Draymond. I want to see that quadruple-double. I know you did too. Boogie Cousins and the Pelicans got to win. It was the first win that they have had, not since he joined the team, but since he has been playing on the team because they won when he was suspended. Him and AD combined for 57 points, about 24 rebounds. Do you expect long-term success from this pairing?
If they're able to add players to go with those two as well as Drew Holiday, they need to fill up some holes on the roster. You got to get some wing play, some productivity there, some bench depth that you deplete when you obviously need to do the move to bring in DeMarcus Cousins. That's what they're going to be judged by. Yep. I don't think that this is going to be a playoff team. No. I do think, however, with those two players, you will have the opportunity to attract other players that want to come run with them.
Here's what Coach Fizdale of the Grizzlies
also doing a great
job. Doing a great job. No one's really talking about him.
And the Spurs are actually outplaying expectations for me this year. I can't front.
Yep.
So are the Rockets.
Here's what Fizdale had to say about people's perception of Chandler Parsons and his social life. Quote, I get that the fans see social media and see him in Cancun. You know what? If you looked at every other player's social media that wasn't at the All-Star game, they were probably at a beach because I was too. I get them being frustrated with that and the fact he's single and he's got girls that he dates and all that stuff. If I looked like that and I was single, I'd date a lot of girls too. So get past all of that. What's he saying?
He's just being a bulletproof vest for a guy who gave a $90 million contract to him while the team is 9 games above 500 in a playoff race in the Western Conference. It's not because of said player.
No, it's not. No. I like that he said if I looked like that and I was single, I'd date a lot of girls too. Basically what he's saying is like everyone who's criticizing him would probably do the exact same thing if they were in his shoes. Do you think Chandler Parsons gets too much play in the media for how little play he does on the court?
It's his personality. We choose as public figures what we put out there and therefore expect and anticipate what's going to happen as a boomerang effect. He knows that when he does certain posts, certain tweets, does his dating for public consumption, that is going to come with the territory, and he likes that.
He does. Good for him. Seems like he's having a great time. Yep. If you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail. If you leave us a voicemail, we'll play it on the show like this.
Yo, what up, Jalen and Jacoby? This is Gilden from Washington, D.C. I just want to start by saying that I am a twin. Shout out to Roger. I know, Jacoby, that you got 2 twins. When I was a kid, my parents would safety pin baby A and baby B to me and my brother before they chose our names. I'm just wondering if you ever switched your kids and now you're calling them by the wrong name. All right.
I have a lot to say about this. First of all, big shout to Gilden.
Yes, indeed.
And big shout to Roger, too.
DC's in the house.
Do you think Roger is kind of salty that Gilden got the cooler name? Probably a little bit. But who knows if Gilden is Roger and Roger is Gilden? Because one thing I learned is when you have identical babies, like everyone knows a set of identical twins in their life, right? They've probably switched identities like 3 or 4 times. You just hope that they've switched identities an even amount of time when they are children. My children, I have one darker one and one lighter one bigger one and one lighter one. So it's not, I don't have that problem. I don't have to be faced with this switch up potential that Gilden and Roger do.
I bet I know who Gilden's favorite NBA players are.
Gilbert Arenas?
The Morris twins. One play right in D.C.
Oh, right. They got the exact same tattoos.
Yep.
The exact same bank account. They shared a bank
sharing,
account.
Yep.
It just seems like they're preparing to commit a crime. That's all I'm saying. It just seems like if y'all have the exact same tattoos and you're making yourself indecipherable from another human being on the planet, it just seems like you have ulterior motives for that. That's all I have to say about that.
And they both have had moments this year where they've been balling, and both of their teams are going to need them going down the stretch.
Especially your Pistons if they want to hang on to a playoff spot. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
Mr. Rose, Mr. Jacoby, John from Florida. My question's for Mr. Jacoby. I know you're a Die Easy fan of many, many teams, but with all the baseball talk on here lately, are you a Die Easy fan of any baseball team? I would love to find out. Thanks, guys. Keep giving the people what they want. You already know.
John is a person, so I'll answer his question. Baseball is the only sport in which I have a little bit of loyalty. I'm loyal to the Boston Red Sox. Anyone who grew up in New England or the Massachusetts specifically knows that Red Sox is just not something that you can – it's not a die-easy situation.
And I'm a die-hard Detroit Tigers fan.
There is going to be more baseball talk, but you know what? A little early in the season for all that. If it's not Tebow related, we're not talking about it.
And we're not talking about that.
Let's listen to the next voicemail.
What up, Jalen and Jacoby? This is Akeem out of L.A. I was listening to the podcast on the other day, and I got to tell you, Jalen, I'm a black guy. I love Star Wars. I've legitimately seen every episode at least 3 times. But I also am very picky when I order, and my wife won't order from In-N-Out for me because I have too many modifications to my burger. And Jacoby, you sleeping on that cruise control, bruh. It's good on your gas mileage. Check it out. Keep holding it down, fellas.
Certain things I'm never going to do. I'm never going to wear skinny jeans. I'm never going to use cruise control. What? I don't care how cool or popular either of those things become.
I think I'm on that program, too.
I'm just never going to use cruise control. I've never had a problem. I've never been like, my foot is so tired from adjusting the speed with the accelerator. This never happened.
You seem too relaxed, unsafe.
Sounds like I'll fall asleep.
But shout to those that can get away with it.
But let's get to what's really important. I don't think you've ever claimed that there aren't black people out there that love Star Wars.
I'm just saying that the majority.
Wait, what? What are you saying?
I'm saying that the majority of people that look like me, I would deem like myself, can't name you characters from each of the Star Wars movies.
You're very mistaken, Mr. Rose. You're very mistaken.
I think I'm in the majority. You think I'm in the minority on this one.
Yeah. One thing I've learned that if I come across a table like this and go, what? And I ask the question twice that you think I'm really up to something. Like I saw you in your face. You were like, wait, what did I say wrong? I was like, no, you didn't say anything wrong.
Reggie, have you seen Star Wars?
Yep. Of course he
All
has.
of them?
Yep. All of them.
Good for you.
Kelly, have you seen Star Wars?
No way.
Yep. Boom. Jalen, have you seen Star Wars?
No.
We can now scientifically say that 66% of black people have seen Star Wars. That's science right there. That's polling.
It is.
Get at me.
All right.
538.
So he said something else. He talked about In-N-Out Burger and making substitutions.
And modifications.
So I want to go back to those same sources. Reg, do you order what's on the menu?
No.
Kales, do you order what's on the menu?
No.
So that means 100% of people that look like me don't order what's on the menu.
Science here on Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio. Those are facts right there. Those are facts. When I look at Wikipedia tomorrow, those should just be facts. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
What up, though? This is Los from Morris Heights University. I have a question for you guys. If the Cavaliers win a championship, will the Kardashian curse not exist? Will it be lifted? Holla at your boy. Keep getting them checks, or give me one. Peace.
Big shout out to Los. I like that he dropped his university.
And I like that he said, give me a check.
Yeah, he wants a check. His question was, if the Cavs win the championship, will the Kardashian curse be lifted? The answer is just an emphatic no. There are too many broken careers out there. There's just too long of a line of people that have entered into that vortex of insanity and have just been broken by it.
Look no further than this unfortunate news that I'm seeing from Reggie Bush. I'm like, man, where did this start?
When did Reggie make that first decision that went left that led to all of these other problems in his life? I wonder if it has anything to do with, I don't know, Kim Kardashian. At least it worked out well for Kanye, though, right? Lamar's good, right? Oh, let's listen to the next voicemail.
Jalen, Jacoby, this is John from Fort Pierce, Florida. I've got a question for you guys. I was out with some buddies the other night. We were playing pool. We're at a bar. Got me thinking. I listen to your guys' podcasts all the time, every day. Who would win in pool between you two? Which also got me thinking about a couple other bar games. Who would win in ping pong? Or who would win in darts? Pool, ping pong, darts. Who's winning out of you guys?
First of all, I think that's the second call from John from Florida. Shout out to him for calling. And what I'm going to do, let's just do an exercise before we even discuss this. There are 3 games, pool, ping pong, darts. Of those 3, before you specify, how many do you think you win one-on-one against David Jacoby?
You win at pool, you win at ping pong, and you win at darts.
Really? Okay. I got you at darts. I got you at ping pong. I can be really bad at pool.
So that's the game we should probably play.
Did you ever have pool inside your house?
It's one of those things like a piano that you just walk past often.
Yeah.
And you never truly become an expert.
Yeah. Someone tells me that you've had a pool table in your home for at least 10 different homes, maybe even 20. But you probably don't even know where to put the one when you rack it.
This is like furniture.
Yeah, it's just around. This is something that rich people has. Rich people have these, right? Give me one of those. I'll take those. What else? Do I need a lion on my staircase outside? Isn't this how this works? Can I have a gold-plated toilet seat, please? What else? Hot tub? I want 2 of those. Give me an elevator. I know it's only 2 floors. Give me an elevator. Jalen Rose, we have a simple goal on this show because we... Part of giving the people what they want is opening up our 1-800-FLOWERS Twitter feed, finding out what they want. Today, because Adam Silver has acknowledged that he wants to change the All-Star game. What Adam Silver has done is said that he's going to change it by next year. He also said that it was Chris Paul coming up to him after the game saying this needs to change, which really made him take it seriously. That's the part I don't need to know, Adam Silver. You know, like that's the part of the story I don't want to know about.
I did because coincidentally, this was the first time Chris Paul ain't made the All-Star game, so he actually had to watch it.
Yeah.
And now he realized how bad it was.
He's usually in it.
Yes.
So he's not in there watching.
He wouldn't have been tripping if he played.
Yeah. He's like, we don't got to change a thing. Let's add a couple roster spots. Let me get this bonus money. I want them to reset the score after 3 quarters or introduce Arian Foster and a live wolf into every quarter. You just want them to get paid more money.
I want them to add a 0 to the winning share. So basically that would be $5 million for the winning team, right?
No.
What's 12 times 500,000? $6 million.
Yep.
So that's $6 million for the winning team, $3 million for the losing team. So therefore, $9 million becomes the total purse that you now divide up by 12 players.
But
the losing team gets nothing, and half of it goes to charity.
What you have to explain to me as a businessman is if we're already paying $900 and now you want me to change that into $9 million, that $8.1 million is not just because, it's more competitive and now more people are watching, so we're going to get $8.1 million more dollars. It doesn't really work like that.
Oh, well.
You need to figure out a way that incentivizes me to add that 0.
Well, it's a shame what happened to Flip.
All-Star Game's not going anywhere. You know that. You know that.
Okay.
So we went to our 1-800-FLOWERS Twitter feed, and we want to hear some question from you, the listeners. Now, Father's like you. He knows that people and basketball players are incentivized by money. I think money does incentivize people to play harder. He said, take away prize money from the losers and give it to the winners. He's not saying let's just add more for everybody.
But that's only 900,000.
So now
that's 12 players divided by 900,000.
I can do that math. That's 75,000 apiece, right? It's pretty good. No, 80,000.
But does that move the needle? Imagine if they were giving $750 and $500 to the player and $250 to their charity.
So what is the number? This is a better question for you, Jalen, because I'm trying to be a businessman.
I just gave you the number.
No, Jalen, you're not listening to the question.
If the players got $500,000 and donated $250 to their charity,
that would be enough. Move the needle. So what is the get out of bed number? What is the play hard number for an NBA basketball player?
$250,000.
So so for $249,000. Nah, I'm still throwing it out the backboard.
Yeah,
not
talk to my
hard.
agent.
Yeah, talk to my agent. But for $250, okay, I'm getting buckets.
Like, hey man, you got to help on D.
So that's the number. So $249,000.
Talk to my agent.
$250,000.
Yeah, we should.
Should we switch these screens?
We're gonna be there anyway.
Which one?
Be there anyway.
Okay, so that's the number. You know, as a fan, and I know a lot of people at home are listening and thinking, like, I can't believe that that's what it's come to. These overpaid athletes and whatever.
What type of basketball players are they?
These overpaid professional athletes.
What word?
Professional.
What makes you a professional?
The
not
love
your
of the
age,
game. The love
not
of the
your
game.
love,
how much you love the game.
not your age,
no, how much you
not
hustle.
your race,
how
your
late
creed,
you stay in the gym,
not how many times
how much you dedicate
practice,
to it.
Not if you went to high school, college, or pro. What makes you a professional basketball player?
If they pay you to do it. So I understand how you feel that, like, the love should be enough.
Who is it motivated by money?
The honor of being an all-star should be enough. I understand if you think that.
Here's what I want to tell everybody out there. Right now, before you got your job, let me tell you what you did. You got down on your knees, and you prayed for it. You hoped the opportunity came. I need to take care of my family, okay? I'm going to work really hard. I'm never going to be late. I'm never going to get sick. There's nobody's going to do this job better than me. Then you got the job. As soon as that happened, guess what? I'm overworked. I'm underpaid. I'm tired. Boss get on my nerves.
I'm sick today.
It just happens once you get the job. We're human beings. And so if you incentivize these players who already get paid to play basketball because they're
professional.
So instead of giving them $750,000 each to the winning team, you say, hey, we're going to give you $500 and then we're going to donate $250 to your favorite charity. I used to say this when Rasheed Wallace played for the Pistons. Where does the tech money go? We had him. We had Ben. We had Chauncey. We had Rip. I'm like, they should be standing somewhere at the end of this season holding that $750,000 check, donating it to the city. Not it going to some league fund that I'm not sure exactly where those Detroit Pistons fine money went that was getting checks that I was watching play on local cable. So that's another thing I think the league should do. Fine money should stay within the city that the player plays. And at the end of the year, it'd be good for the city and good for the league to have those players with that tech money and those checks donating them back to the community.
Question for
that
you.
They play in.
I think you make a really good point. I think that we've both been pretty eloquent about how you can motivate these players to play better by motivate them the way you make them play in the first place by paying them for it. So if you pay them more in the All-Star game, you put stakes on it.
What a noble idea.
You're gonna play. You know what we do as fans? We put stakes in the game just to watch it.
Y'all
we bet on the game just to make it more interesting for us to watch.
You fans play fantasy. Y'all have drinking games when y'all watching the game.
Of course.
Fans have superstitions that think that matters if their team's going to win or lose. There we go.
That really does matter. Yep. I think you've done a really good job of eloquating this. But here's my question.
Okay.
Do you think you've been 100% accurate with all the different math situations you've thrown out there?
I hope so. Let me say it again. I say you add a zero.
Okay.
To the prize.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That means it's now $500,000.
The prize money.
Correct.
It was $600,000 before. So if you add a zero,
$600,000.
Right.
So now it's $600,000 per player.
Mm-hmm.
On the winning team,
$600,000 per player
for the winning team. It's 12 people on the team.
So $600,000 divided by 12.
$9 million is the prize money.
Okay.
When you add a zero, it will be $6 million to the winning team, $3 million to the losing team. I'm saying the winning team gets all $9 million.
Winning team gets all 9.
Correct.
9 divided by 12, $750,000 for every
and
winning
of
player.
that $750,000, I've said this 5 times. You keep $500 and you donate $250 to the charity of your choice where you play basketball. Or where you grew up. That should also be an
I like
option.
the face you made when you said that.
I mean, I got that right. I don't know much. I know that.
Last time you said it was.
And we didn't do it live.
Last time you said it was $250.
We didn't
charity.
do it live, so by the time it plays, it should be accurate.
Else. Oh, now you can throw that in there too. Now you can throw that in
there
too.
Yeah, so it should be accurate.
Okay. What? Let's listen to some more suggestions from the fans. Childish Poetry had this suggestion: more money.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Kendall has this suggestion: have East-West team captains select teams pickup game style.
How much? People come up to me all the time. I beat you in some one-on-one. What the first thing you think I say to them? How much?
Has anyone that said that kind of looked like they're like a D1 college player that might actually beat you at one-on-one?
Sure, but how much? That's like if somebody asks you if you know somebody, I know them if I see them. I'm not accepting any debts or any beefs. You want to play me one-on-one? First question, how much?
Would you ever actually play someone that came up to you in the street one-on-one
how
for money?
much?
My question is, would it ever actually play out that way?
Yes. If
like
you
think it would really happen?
If I saw you on the street and you and Bill Simmons had just came from the court and y'all were like, you know what? Let's play one-on-one. And I said, how much? And y'all was like, $2 million. I'd be like, let's go to the court.
That's a lot of money.
Now, if I saw James Harden and Russell Westbrook, and they were like, let's go play one-on-one, no price, because I ain't going to win.
Are you trying to say that James Harden and Russell Westbrook are better at basketball than me and Bill Simmons?
Just a little bit.
That hurt my feelings.
Who went 2-on-2?
Me and Bill against Russell Westbrook and James Harden? Oh, me and Bill all day. Shout out to the Podfather. Oh, all day. Me and Bill play really well together. He's got a killer 16-foot baseline shot. He's just got this spot he never misses from. Dump it into me in the post. I got James. Relocate when Westbrook doesn't play any defense. Neither of those guys play defense.
I got a remix name for the Podfather.
We would beat them at 2-on-2.
He would appreciate this.
If it's losers outs, we would beat them at 2-on-2 because they don't play defense.
You can ask him about this. He could be the new era Boston Strangler.
I don't like that at all. I don't think that one's
Andrew
gonna stick.
Tony.
I don't think that's going to stick, Jalen. I don't think that's going to stick. I don't think that one's going to stick.
You don't think so? You said he got a killer baseline J?
Jalen, I don't think
you
that
said
one's going to
killer
work.
baseline J? You guys don't know nothing about no Andrew Tony. You youngsters.
What is happening? Thank you so much for listening on ESPN
Thank
Radio,
you.
for watching on ESPN2
Thank
and
you.
ESPN News, and subscribing to the
Thank
Jalen
you.
and Jacoby podcast.
You're far too kind.
We